this is Family Magic Weekly, where you have your New Year's plans, how you have all these great hopes and expectations for your New Year's plans, that it's going to be this great night, and it never works out, and it always ends up being a disappointment. And that's your vacation if you don't take advice from us or watch our videos. If you watch our videos and take advice from us, it's as if your New Year's actually was fun and not just a big drunken disaster.
You're going down a road there.
So we're approaching a year out from our vacation. We want to start looking at different plans, start game planning what we want to do on our trip. One of these issues that we want to cover in a series of videos is taking each park one by one, sort of game planning how you would spend the day at each park. Today, with toddlers and little kids. Today we want to start with Animal Kingdom, which is a park that a lot of people write off with toddlers. Animal Kingdom kind of has this perception of being just oppressively hot and sort of science-y.
It's personally, I think it might be my favorite park.
Yeah.
Which you're not going to hear a whole lot of people say, but I have my reasons. I think it's a really good park. It's just so submersive, in my opinion, that it's just, I love it.
Yeah. It's when we know we're going to be planning a full day at Animal Kingdom, it's actually one of the days that we actually take a chance and decide to actually eat breakfast out. Yes. Because Animal Kingdom, as you'll see, or as you've heard us talk about before, has one of the best character breakfasts in the whole resort.
Yeah. So when we do a day at Animal Kingdom, we usually start off with breakfast at Tusker House. Animal Kingdom, unless there are morning extra magic hours, opens at 8, which is the same time that Tusker House opens. And if you can get an 8 o'clock reservation, you get into the park. You can get into the park before, so you're there in time for your reservation. You just go up to the gate and say that you've got 8 o'clock reservations, and they let you in, and it's really cool to see the park empty. It also gives you a good opportunity to be dumped out right in the middle of the park while it's still early.
Rather than in that front quarter of the park that I think is kind of boring in the jungle. Sorry, I do. It's unlike other parks where you walk in and it's the main focal point. When you walk into Magic Kingdom, you see the castle. When you walk into Hollywood Studios, now you see the Chinese theater. Mm-hmm.
Like, they have that, and Animal Kingdom doesn't have that. The Tree of Life is their focal point. You don't see it when you walk into the park.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that wow factor when you walk in, which is different. But yeah, you get to Tusker House, have breakfast. When you get dumped out, you're almost right at the entrance to the Kilimanjaro Safaris, which I think is probably the reason that Animal Kingdom is my favorite park. I could probably just ride Kilimanjaro Safari all day.
I'm pretty sure it's the longest ride in any of the parks. And it's the biggest in terms of acreage. I think I've heard that the entire attraction takes. I'll probably get these facts wrong, but the entire attraction itself is the size of some theme parks.
Yes.
I'm not going to say it's the size of something in particular because I'm not sure, but it's probably bigger than Disneyland.
And since we've last been there, they now offer a sunset safari, which I've heard is pretty cool to see because a lot of the animals have different behaviors at night, and they are a lot more active. So with Kilimanjaro Safaris, they always suggest that you go early in the morning because the animals are more active. I don't think I've ever had a bad experience. They always, animals are active at different times of the day, so you're always going to see something. But we've taken William on it a couple times, and he's always been really amused.
Yeah, they're animals.
Kids and animals.
Yeah.
It's, they find it really cool.
Right.
I don't know that with a toddler you're going to want to ride it a million times like I always want to, but for me it is the number one on the list of if you're taking a toddler to Animal Kingdom, you have to do it. When you get off of the safari, another thing that I consider a must do is the Maharaja Jungle Trek, which I think is ideal if you need to get out of the heat and you don't want to get the kids out of the stroller. It's also really good if you have a child who's fallen asleep and you just want to walk around and see things.
You go at your own pace, and there's a lot of different things that you can see. There's a
lot of tree coverage.
There's an aviary
in the shade.
sort of area. I believe the tigers are in there. They have gigantic bats.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cool stuff. And again, it's go at your own pace. And it's one of the few walking attractions in the parks. I mean, I guess you also have this Swiss Family Treehouse in
which
Magic
is not
Kingdom,
stroller
which
friendly.
I do not recommend you take a stroller on, or try it. I mean, know how it goes.
Yeah. Also in the same area, which if you have a toddler boy, especially who loves choo-choos like ours, the Wildlife Express train is right in that same area as the safari and the Jungle Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to fold your stroller up and take it on the train, which you are. Oh wait, do they allow that? I'm getting it confused, aren't I?
Yes, you cannot take your stroller on the train.
I think I was getting confused.
You can take your stroller on Hogwarts Express. I think
That's
is what you're
it.
thinking
There you go.
Yeah.
So you can either choose to take a round trip, just nice scenic train, which is really cool because you go past the pens where they bring the animals in for the safari, so you can see like all that backstage stuff. And they also drop off at Rafiki's Planet Watch, which is a big air-conditioned building where there's usually a lot of character interactions. So if you have little ones running around with their autograph books, then something to keep in mind is Animal Kingdom is huge on the character interactions. I think they probably have so many to compensate for the fact that a lot of people don't think it's a child-friendly park. So we definitely had tons of signatures by the end of that day in the park.
Also at the Rafiki's Planet Watch is a veterinary center where they perform surgery. So if you find yourself in the parks and have a desire to see a turtle get a hysterectomy, you can go to the Rafiki's Planet Watch, and they're usually cutting open an animal. It's not my sort of thing, but it draws a crowd over there.
Rafiki himself is usually there.
Yes.
We've seen, I've met Jiminy Cricket there, Pocahontas. There's a bunch that are usually in and out of Rafiki's.
Mm-hmm.
There's also
the
a petting station there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
where you go, where your kids can get in there and
get all dirty.
Yeah, and you can stop them from strangling a goat.
If that's all for it, but yeah.
But
other top must-dos for me with a toddler would be the Finding Nemo, the show, but I say that with a big disclaimer. I tried to do it with William when he was, when we did our September trip and when he was 17 months old at the time. And I went in while Chris was riding Destination Everest. A suggestion if you're going to see Finding Nemo with a small child is kind of plant yourself near an exit. That way, if they start to lose it, you can make a quick exit. Mm-hmm. Parking is really convenient. Stroller parking is really convenient. They have you park right near the exit, so it's an easy in and out. But if you think you can handle it, it's a really great show.
Yeah, there's other shows. There's Festival of the Lion King, which we haven't seen, but people go berserk over it.
And I really want to see it.
And so, yeah, we'll eventually see that also. Dino Land, which is oft forgotten. There's a good amount of things for little kids in Dino Land. There's a lot of carnival type. It's kind of like a carnival. for older kids, there's the Triceratop, the Primeval Swirl
Yeah.
ride, which is sort of a spinning roller coaster, what do they call that? A Crazy Mouse style roller coaster or something.
Yeah, if you've ever been to Hershey Park, it's kind of like the mouse trap.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they also have the Triceratop Spin. It's that ride that is duplicated all over Magic Kingdom with the
Dumbo,
spins around.
Aladdin's carpet.
It's a flat ride. That's a lot of fun. I think that's one where you can control it going up and down like Dumbo and Magic Carpet.
Yeah.
And Astro Orbiter. You can control all of them, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to shows, there's something that's one of my favorite things in the whole park, and that's It's Tough to Be a Bug, which is at the base of the Tree of Life. This is a blast. It's some kids may find it scary.
A lot of kids find it scary.
Yeah,
You hear screams throughout the theater.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm sadistic, but I think like everybody freaking out and going berserk is part of the fun of it. It's funny. The characters, the Bugs Life characters were great, and this really does them justice. And it's a great sort of 4D theater experience. I think it's worth putting your kids through.
I had a toddler clinging to me for dear life.
And he's a better man for it.
It is a cute show, yeah. If you don't mind scaring your children.
Yeah.
Kind of other things we mentioned. Starting our day off at Tusker House. I personally think that Animal Kingdom is a good park to pack a lunch if you're trying to save money.
Yeah.
Only disclaimer with that is Animal Kingdom being the animal-friendly park that it is, they don't allow glass, and they don't, none of them allow glass. They don't allow plastic straws, which if your first stop is Starbucks in the morning, when you get to Animal Kingdom, you're going to be shell-shocked by those paper straws that I can't stand because they slowly turn to mush. But yeah, Animal Kingdom, all paper straws. So if you have juice boxes packed for your kids, keep that in mind, no plastic straws. You can find paper straws at like Target though.
But there are good places to eat. There's, aside from Tusker House, there's Yak and Yeti. There's Harambe Market. It's Harambe.
Harambe Market, which I think is, if you have little kids that, they aren't going to really care, a good cheat would be for the adults to grab a meal at Harambe, because it's kind of like a food truck style. There's different spots that you can.
Yeah, there's
like
different kiosks. It's like an outdoor market,
right.
But it's there's.
And then there's like picnic tables everywhere.
Yeah, there's essentially different kiosks that offer different kinds of food. You can get some beers there. There's some dining under shade. Some of it's out in the open. Great atmosphere. You sit there, you hear the Rafiki wildlife train going by through the woods. So it's very immersive.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. There's also a new signature dining restaurant in Animal Kingdom for dinner. Or it might even be open for lunch. It's called what's it called? Tinkers.
It's something
Tinkle
along those
Tinsels. Tiffins. It's called Tiffins. It might not be for you with kids that have just exhausted themselves in the heat of the Mirage Jungle Trail. But it's there to sort of diversify the options in the park. It's something that previously had been lacking as an option in the park.
Reviews that we've watched, food is good, but some of it's a little on the pricey end for what you're getting. But always my fallback if we're gonna sit down is Yak and Yeti. I think it's really good. It's like a Pan-Asian kind of.
Yes.
It is like on your way to Destination Everest. So really good. They also have you walk up, so you can choose to eat it sitting down in nice air conditioning or walking up to a window and grabbing it. So Animal Kingdom's got a lot to offer, and I think a lot of people just look straight at the attractions, being like the rides, seeing that the main, like the big four are all for adults.
Yeah. And coming this summer, Pandora, the World of Avatar, 2 new signature attractions and a whole bunch of other sort of theming. It's looking pretty good. I have a commentary video on that park or on that land that you can check out on our channel. Speaking of the attractions, so pretty good rider swap options in the park. You have Everest, you have Cali River Rapids, Dinosaur has rider swap, the Primeval Whirl in Dino Land has rider swap. Aside from rider swap, Everest actually has a really good single rider line. It's usually not terribly long, and they usually do a pretty good job of using the single rider line to sort of even out those parties of 3, those parties of 5, those parties of 7. So if you don't,
your odd numbers.
Yeah, they're all prime too. There's that option for Everest aside from the rider swap.
If you have been to Animal Kingdom recently and have seen their evening, they now have nighttime hours, which I feel is like it's a huge. It was controversial because they closed like at sunset basically because of the animals, and they didn't want to make it a long day. Now they have extended nighttime hours. They have a nighttime show now. If you've been to the new nighttime at Animal Kingdom, we'd love to hear what you think, because it's new since we've been there. We haven't been able to experience it. I think it started, the week after we left?
Yes.
I am looking forward to seeing it next year. Would love to hear feedback on what you guys think we should do or whether it's worth staying.
That's kind of our quick little look at Animal Kingdom. We'd love to know what you think. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe. We are Family Magic Weekly on YouTube, Facebook, and Pinterest, and we are Family Magic WKLY on Twitter. www.familymagicweekly.com. Hopefully we'll have some new stuff up on that pretty soon. So that's it for this week. We'll see you next week. Happy New Year, everybody, and be careful.